Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. As we move through earnings season, we've gotten to the portion now of like retail. So we're through definitely the heart, but we do have some like interesting pockets coming up. And this week will definitely be much more retail focused. Which is you'll see um, as like a group, really like the um, marquee sector that's reporting. Before the open, though, there's one name, LI. It's a Chinese EV. They're priced in about 275. It's the first of the Chinese EVs to report, and it's still in a pretty aggressive downtrend. So LI and NEO and XPEV, they give monthly sales, so that does tend to remove some of the volatility around earnings. And I think the issue here, and I don't know if Baba was going to be the exception or the rule, but I mean, Baba acted pretty badly after its report. The numbers were okay, but it just doesn't seem like people are too interested in Chinese names yet. So it's probably going to be a speculative idea for me, just in case it can jumpstart the run again, right? Like break the downtrend, but it just doesn't seem like these stocks are in play right now. After the close on Monday, Globe. So it's another e-commerce name. They're pricing in about 3.5 points. I don't trade it very often, and I mean at this point in the quarter, we've had a bunch of e-commerce reports, so I feel like we kind of know what to expect. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a huge mover, but it might be something I look at the day after if it has like a decent post-earnings setup. For the open on Tuesday, so this is when like the retailers really start to roll out. So Home Depot pricing in 14 points. I mean, they're a machine when it comes to earnings, so it's tough to expect lousy numbers. The problem is that the stock tends to react poorly even to good reports. So I guess you still have to think that the risk is to the downside. And I mean, it does seem like it's set up for a move, but with options at like 14 points, it might be taking away a little bit of like the potential. So I guess if I did anything, I mean, I really have to get risk down on both ends. But I do think I'd probably be favoring the bear side if I did do something with the volatility strategy. Walmart, so about 5.5 points is what's priced in. Those options would probably be priced in more, but they already warned, right, just a couple weeks ago. So I feel like that may have taken away some of the movement. But I mean, last quarter wasn't good. The warning wasn't good. Stock made back what it lost in the warning, but I mean, still way down from where it was in May. So I don't know. I could see this possibly being very choppy, and it might not be that big of a mover because of that guidance just a couple weeks ago. But it's also, it's really tough to get a feel for what to expect here because the volatility has been expanding and people seem to be really sensitive to numbers out of retail right now. So I mean, I could see this moving the entire sector. Also, I mean, I might look at like sympathy play on either Costco or even like Dollar Tree or Dollar General. SE, so about 10.5 points is what's priced in. It's another international e-com name. Pretty tight chart, and actually this one seems a little bit more due for a move because last quarter saw lower volatility, but the option pricing at 10, a little over 10, it may actually leave some room this time around. So it could be something to keep an eye on. Really nothing of interest Tuesday after the close. Wednesday before the open, more retailers. So Lowe's pricing in 12 points. I mean, Home Depot's going to set the tone, so we're going to need to see where this is trading after Home Depot. The thing is, it doesn't always move in the same direction as Home Depot, so sometimes it gives a trade. Even if it drops on Home Depot's results, sometimes it can trade the opposite way. Or if it pops on Home Depot's results, sometimes it can trade the opposite way. So this and Home Depot don't always trade the same way on earnings. Um, Target, about 15 points is what's priced in. I mean, similar to Walmart, they warned. That was that was like 2 months ago now, though. So this actually, to me, seems like it could be more of like a mover versus Walmart. You got huge gap, obviously, it's well off its low. Um, so it seems more of like a pattern versus like Walmart, which seems like it could be a little bit more choppy. So it just still though, I mean, it's just like a tough setup. I feel like it's a tough setup with expensive options, so it's a little bit harder one to get a feel for. TJX, so 375 is what's expected. It could be interesting. First off-price retailer report, also the biggest one, and that means that there's some uncertainty there. Earnings in May were decent. Stocks had a pretty big spot technically, right at the top of year-to-date resistance in the 200 days. So seems like it could move, and it definitely could impact names like Ross Stores or Burlington too. ADI, so kind of like one of like only a couple tech reports next week. Pricing in 7 points. My rule of thumb this quarter was to avoid semis on earnings because the moves just for the most part weren't large enough to reward options. So I'm sticking with that rule on ADI. I'll see what they say, see where it is after the report, but don't think I'll have any options into the actual quarter. After the close on Wednesday, Cisco, so about 2.5 is what's priced in. Last quarter was not good, and the stock is actually probing the gap on the upside from that print. Options right now are priced at less than 50% of what it moved in May. So if it has anywhere near that large of a move again, options are underpriced. But that was also a large move for it because recent history, for the most part, hasn't been that big. Um, but it might be something I look at with like speculative out of the money options just to see if it can repeat a move of the magnitude from last quarter because I mean, like I said, I mean options right now are priced for a move less than half of what it moved in May. Thursday before the open, BJ's, so about 5.5 points is what's priced in. Kind of an interesting setup to me because it's hanging right around the top end of like yearly resistance at 70. The numbers weren't as bad as Walmart and Target last quarter, and Costco's been killing it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But it definitely seems like a pattern where you could see like a large swing based off the technical setup. Coles, so 4 points is what's priced in. I'm really not sure what to make of this for earnings because not the merger talks are done. It's going to come down to numbers, and it probably won't be too pretty this quarter. Maybe something I look at actually for a bear strategy if the stock keeps rallying ahead of earnings. Also, Neo still hasn't confirmed an earnings date. So, I mean, my briefing.com tentatively has it on Thursday, but that's not confirmed. So, still just wait and see. After the close on Thursday, AMAT, so about 6 points is what's priced in. Another semi, but still the same rule for me. I mean, until I see these semis move enough to reward options, I'm gonna hold off on taking options into the earnings. But it could move names like Lamb or Clack. Ross Stores about 7.5 points. The option spreads are a little bit wider. So TJX reports first, so it's good to probably move this. But TJX popped last quarter and Ross Stores got smacked, so doesn't mean that those two will necessarily move in the same direction. But we'll see. Maybe it'd be a lotto idea for me later in the week. Bill, so 26 points is what's priced in. High growth, high price software name. Historically, has been a big mover on earnings, and it seems like it could be again. And at 26 points though, I don't know if I have enough conviction with either side to want to get involved. So I might just see what the numbers look like, and then hop in for like a quick trade after if something looks good. And before the open on Friday, a couple names. Deere, about 20 points is what's expected. It's really like the only big industrial report of the week. It's had a really steady recovery over the last like month and a half, and it made back all of what it lost on earnings last quarter. And the interesting thing is that earnings last quarter didn't seem that bad, but the stock really got punished. Cat wasn't great a couple weeks ago, so that's kind of like a mixed signal. But it just seems like it could be set up for a bigger swing, and if pricing comes down during the week, it might be something I look at for like a volatility strategy. And then lastly, Foot Locker. So about 4 points is what's priced in. 2 quarters ago, it moved huge, but that was also because Nike said they were going to start to walk back exclusives. May didn't really do much, so I guess the question is there going to be anything besides numbers to really move it that much this time around? Otherwise, it does seem like the option pricing is kind of high. That's it. So retail, and more retail with some one-off like tech and industrials scattered about. So definitely could be an interesting week. Expecting some big moves, and we'll just see what we get. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading earnings with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great weekend. Stay well, and I will talk to you on Monday.